Yes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to Going Vocal. Today I have on the panel Anupam Singh and Hemant Srinivas, and we're going to discuss something very interesting, slight controversial as well, and that is the urban dog and its in relationship with human beings. Of course, we will be exploring a few other animals as well and the wildlife parts of our country, but we'll be focusing on the urban dog and the human interaction. Recently, I think the Delhi High Court decided to, get dogs and keep all the stray dogs and keep them inside a shelter. This was quite controversial, with a number of people supporting the dogs and saying the dogs shouldn't be taken and put in a shelter, and a number of people saying that they should. Sterilization wasn't enough. So we'll just explore the reasons for this kind of a conflict, what can be done, and we'll try to get down to the crux of the matter. Yeah. All right, Hemant, I'd like to start off asking you, what do you think are the reasons for this kind of a conflict to occur between humans and the urban dog? Urban humans and urban dog.
Thank you.
Urban street dog, rather. Let's talk about the urban street dog. Yes.
So thank you, Mr. Rahul. Actually, yes, this is a very major problem now which we are facing in especially big cities. So even in a city like Kochi, you can see for the last 5 or 6 years, morning walk itself has become something which everybody is apprehensive of because they fear the bites of dogs, dog bites. So I think one reason could be, from my own observation, now there is heavy garbage dumping because dogs naturally their instinct is such, they go to places where the garbage is more. So because the garbage, reason for the increase of garbage could be one, the fast food domain, the fast food culture has caught on. So you can see that many people are now ordering food through parcels like Zomato, through domains like Zomato and Uber Eats and many such food domains. So all these wastes get dumped on the roadside. I can tell you, Mr. Rahul, in the place where I am staying in Kochi, called Padivattam, just outside my flat, if you go to the main road, it is just being dumped. The waste is just being, there's a heap of waste. And all these dogs, stray dogs come there. And then after they finish their, once they are happily satisfied with having the food, they start roaming around the road. So there should be a proper waste disposal system. So this could be one reason. The second reason is maybe 10 or 15 years ago, because we always had dogs on the streets. It is not something new. Dogs were there even 15 years ago, or 20 years ago, or 25 years ago. But maybe 25 or 30 years ago, the dogs had more space. Now, what has happened is urbanization has, when I say urbanization, construction of buildings,
buildings, flats.
So the dogs have actually there is no free movement. There is no space for them to move. A lot of vehicles have increased. So they are not able to move freely. If you say take say 10 or 15 years ago, 20 years ago, the traffic was not so much. There was more space for the dogs to move freely. So probably this could be the reason why they have become more aggressive. That is something which has surprised me. The dog bites have increased, as my friend Anupam was also saying earlier. Dogs attacking young children of even 5 years, 8 years, 9 years. In certain cases, they have even killed the child. It has led to the death of the child. So the reason is, so in short, what I would like to say is, one is improper waste disposal system, number one. The reduction of open space in cities. Cities are growing in terms of commercial buildings and residential complexes, but nobody is caring for these animals. The care is not given for these animals because they also have equal right to live. So they are not having space to move. So these are the two reasons As far as dogs are concerned, which is coming to my mind, the conflict of dog versus man increasing is because of these two reasons.
Right. The idea that the rising of the urban cities, or the a population explosion in the urban cities, along with the construction, squashing out the room for the dogs, is something that is very valid. Actually, many times they might be finding it difficult now, but there might also be an increase in the food resources that occur. And with the increase in the food that happens, there is a possibility that other pests also come that might be interested in the food, and that might be more of a problem to human existence. Rats, bats, so many other things might be there, all kinds of things. So I'd just like to see what, Anupam, you feel that, in such kind of a thing, do you think that moving the dog outside would be to a shelter, as was suggested by the Delhi High Court, is something wise? Do you think that there could be other options, or do you think that, you know, how do you think it will affect that ecosystem of the dog, various other pests and animals, and human interaction in urban cities?
Thank you, Rahul. Yes, I think this has been a debate from since when this news has promulgated in the news channels and through various social sites. We have seen people have different reactions. Some people are supporting it, some people are not supporting it. And both ways, I think it's correct as well, and it can be a decision which can go wrong as well. I'll tell you why. The first thing is, I think the dog menace has gone a lot, like Hemant said. I think the problem is, like Hemant mentioned, there can be a problem because of the human population. We did not used to see a lot of dogs previously, although they could have been there. But because of this lot of population, then urbanization, lot of construction work going on every now and then, we do not have any free space. We see them more often, and and they live nearby humans as well because of their own reasons, because of the food wastage of food is there. Then the dogs are generally attracted to the food. So because of these things, we see these street dogs a lot. But I think there's a problem security. I've seen that dogs attacking children. The morning walks also, we have seen a lot of videos circulating in the social sites and also in the news channels that some dogs have attacked some people. So all those things are creating a problem for humans and for myself as well. I am a animal activist who tend my views are tend mostly are towards the animals only. But in case of dogs, I think they are breeding a lot these days, and there is no proper immunization which can stop their breeding. So first thing what government needs to do is immunization, timely immunization of these street dogs so that their breedings have some control. And then their decision of keeping them in the shelters, I don't know if it will go right or wrong, because we have seen that the conditions can be very bad in the shelters. And if they are taking the full responsibility, the governments or the state governments, I think there should be proper shelters, the food facility should be there, and they should have safe environment to live over there, good free space where they can explore themselves and have good time over there, and which I think will not be there. Anybody in the if you put these questions right in front of any government, I think they will say that we will try to take care of them, but we cannot assure all these lists that you are giving us that these should be everything should be marked, and they should be taken care in the right way. So I think that is the problem where I see. I think the decision is right where we are trying to take care of humans over here, and to because we have seen that the rabies disease is also spreading a lot. We have not seen that these street dogs are never being taken care by the municipal corporations. They are not being immunized. So first thing, I feel that the decision is right, but the further decision or the responsibility of taking care of those dogs, I cannot trust the government or the municipal corporations in India. So that is my view.
Yes, okay, all right. But what you said is very interesting. I'm also a person likes dogs, but recently the kind of interactions with humans and dogs, some of the things that we hear in the news has been very negative. I think recently a woman was found murdered in Bangalore, and apparently she was discovered murdered because a street dog came and picked up her arm and walked out with it. And once your dog or an animal happens to taste human flesh, its behavior towards other human beings might be a little different. So there are certain things like that. But I worry about basically when you take a dog to a shelter, how do you intend to feed it? What is its ecosystem going to be there? What is the life that what are you going to build there to allow them? What is this shelter that you're talking about? Are you talking about large sections of land? And what else? What do you mean by this concept of a shelter? So that is something I think. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think the government might mean by the concept of a shelter?
Yeah, because as you what you said is absolutely right. Shelter should be a place where a dog has a quality of life. It is not. It should not be like a prison. What we nowadays, what we I have seen till date, as far as the shelters are concerned, is these dogs are just put in some place, and then they are just. I doubt whether they are properly cared for, and I think because the environment there is not congenial and they are not treated properly, they become more aggressive. So if the government is thinking of, or based on the Supreme Court ruling, where all dogs have been ordered to be taken to a shelter, the shelter should be properly structured so that the dogs are properly cared.
When you
They
say
are trained.
properly structured, what do you mean properly structured? What should happen inside?
Inside that, the kind of place that they live, the dogs stay. For instance, a dog which we normally pet dogs, for instance, there is a special place for it to stay. So something like that. They should be comfortably. They should have a comfortable place to stay. It should not be just like you put all the dogs in an open yard. It should not be like that. There should be proper places for these dogs to sleep, to take rest. There should also be probably a big sort of a playground or recreational ground where they can easily move around. And there should be maybe some dog trainers who can train these dogs properly. And of course, the proper food should be given. So, nourishment, caring for them. I think if that is the way it is going to be done, probably these dogs can also be a opportunity for these dog shelter people, the shelter owners, to to give them to people who want to own them as pets. These dogs who are trained and tamed. I won't say trained, not tamed. They're trained properly. They could also be. It will be an opportunity for these dogs to be owned by somebody. Because even now we have a lot of dog lovers, genuine dog lovers. So they also get a quality of life. So I think if it is professionally done, it is good.
But do you think that the Indian dog owner, the urban Indian dog owner, would take a dog that is a street dog, a normal street dog, and wish to own it? Do you think that that is practically going to happen? Or you think that we should put them through a schooling, a kind of training? When I say schooling, I mean a training in these shelters. Do you think that the taxpayer should fund such a event? Because we need to feed them when we need to train them. And once you're doing that, do you think that the taxpayer will be willing to fund that? Because it has to come from taxpayer money. There is no other way, right? What do you think, Anupam? Yeah. But you can also answer.
No,
Go ahead, Dave.
Okay. A very interesting question, Rahul. That I think the main point is like I was pointing towards these things as well, where we need to have right shelters for them. Then there should be a separate place for them for drinking water, and then there should be a separate place where they can roam around freely. They can have a good space where they can play with other dogs. Then there'll be proper shelters in case of rainy seasons or during the very heavy summers. There should be proper shelters where are not very exposed to the outside environment. So these things needs to be taken care, but all these things will come with a cost. And I think here we, I don't
Do you
know
think
if.
that the sheer numbers of dogs
Mhm.
can be handled by such a thing, by a shelter? That because if we are taking
No.
just Delhi, there must be at least a good 50,000 street dogs, I'm sure, right?
Yes, yes,
A
exactly.
dog
Yeah.
to maybe every 10 person in Delhi, I'm sure, or every 15 person, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I don't know the numbers, but there must be quite a number of dogs, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, there are not a lot of dogs in, I think surrounding my society, let's say I have seen 10 to 12 dogs, just my society. So you can consider there will be a lot number of dogs. But the thing is, like you mentioned, who will pay this? Uh, Creating those shelters, and then I think the first idea is Hemant said, like someone who wants to adopt them, or there can be some people who are through NGOs. This money can come, so it can be
Correct.
funded. Then immunization to control their breeding, that is also an important factor that needs to be considered. I think slowly and gradually the population will reduce if we will have a proper count. At least government will have proper source where they are referring to. They will write facts, how many dogs are there, how many are breeding, and then what's the population, what they have to do about it. If they are there in front of their eyes, at least they will take some right steps. Otherwise, roaming freely in the streets, nobody's taking care of them. Anyway, there are some dog activists or animal activists who are taking care of them, who are feeding them properly. In my society as well, there are many people who go and feed them properly, and then they stay around the societies itself.
When you say that, do you think that these are really just animal activists? Maybe they are people who are forming a social bond with the dog, people who are forming a form of emotional support. I mean, I've read about
Yeah.
a lot of people who form an emotional bond with dogs because they feel very lonely, maybe at home, and when they come and they feed these dogs and offer sense of kindness, they feel good about themselves, and they
Yes.
feel that the dog is loyal to them or it likes them because dogs are very loyal animals, and far more loyal than human beings are anyway as well. So they get an emotional bond. Do you think that these dogs are being more emotionally supportive and helping certain human beings relax themselves or feel better about who they are and things like that?
Of course, of course.
Because, like they say,
Yeah.
you feed a human being, tomorrow he'll forget you and be angry about the fact that you fed him. But you feed a dog, the dog is loyal for life. So a lot of people gain that loyalty, because from dogs, rather than that kind of connection that they feel from human beings itself. Many people tend to do that. Yeah, go ahead, Anupam. I'm sorry to stop.
And I fully
Yes,
agree
you
with
wanted
you.
to
I
say.
think emotional support is the one thing that can be an important factor for humans, and especially the dog owners. Some, with the nuclear families that we have, not many people are interacting with each other. Some people do not like to talk with others. Also, they like to be alone, but in being alone, they want some companion with them. So dogs can be right companion for them. But like Hemant said, and also we can do one thing is, even if they are in the shelters, people can be given the addresses. It should not be centralized. There can be multiple shelters across the city, so that people can gain access. And in case they want to go and spend time with them, that can also be allowed. And also they can, if they want that these dogs are, they want to adopt them, then there can also be a proper legal process, and through that the government will have the right accountability. Government and also the person will have the right accountability as well. So these things can be taken care. But rightly you said, I think people who keep pets have the inclination towards being interactive with those pet animals, because it's a different bond. You get a different feeling with them. They do not talk, but they definitely share some emotional connect. So that is an important factor. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Very good. Very interesting. Also, there are things we'll just discuss a little bit outside of dogs. Well, a little while. Recently, I think an elephant. I saw a video. I think maybe Anupam, you can show it to our
Yes.
audience. A video of an elephant. Yeah, there you go. There is an elephant. Can we play this video? Is it possible to play it?
Yeah, yeah, I'm playing it. Do you see it?
Yeah, we can't see it moving actually. Anyway, this is a video of an elephant that tramples on a man who takes a photograph of it. And this is a very interesting video, isn't it? Because it shows the kind of interactions that with wildlife as well, human beings. There's a lot of human beings out there, and they're watching that elephant. And this
Yes,
man,
yes.
he comes and takes a photograph of this elephant, and the elephant tramples on him, and basically tramples on him like, well, human beings trample ants.
Yes.
He basically looks just like an ant, and I think according to the author of the post, I guess the man stood up and went, because we didn't see that happen in this video, but the man stood up and went, and both me and Anupam don't understand how he did it. But
Yes.
anyway, this is a video of an interaction at the wildlife reserves, or places where wildlife, at the borders of the city where wildlife roam. This is a kind of interaction that is a conflict, a real conflict between animal and human being. What do you guys think about this kind of a conflict? I hear that there are lots of places where wild boars come in, and in these kind of outskirts, and wild boars coming create damages to farmhouses, create all kinds of problems. The wild boar is a very tough animal, and it tends to create a lot of damage. And I've also heard about situations where leopards come in, tigers come in and take away pet dogs and kill cattle. So this kind of a conflict is also there. What do you guys feel about this kind of a conflict? Like, how do you think that human beings that our administration or political administration can manage this kind of a conflict? What do you guys think?
Yeah, actually, one thing is, while these animals like tigers, leopards, elephants, they should be let on their own. They are actually animals who live in the natural environment. I mean, they live in forests, so they should be let on their own. If you take the case of Africa, I mean, you have so many game reserves there where you can find that the animals are just let on their own. They are not. There is no human interference as such. The problem is all this conflict is happening because of the interference of human. The human beings are supposed to be the most evolved creature, but unfortunately, they are not showing that when it comes to such situations. Number one is actually, if you see, for instance, these elephants. Elephants are being used in temples, especially in Kerala and some other places, but because the Kerala Temple Festival is very famous because of its elephants. I think I have seen temple festivals here in Kerala personally, and also on television. And literally, it's a torture. These elephants are chained, and they are put through that whole program for about 5 or 6 hours, or I think 10 to 12 hours, with the beating of the, this chedda, which is something like an drum-like instrument. So I think that should be stopped.
That is a temple. That is a temple related. It's a very faith related event. Do you think that we can just stop something like that? What do you feel?
Because what I feel is there are many temples in Tamil Nadu and even Karnataka and even Orissa, where instead of the temples they use chariots. So there is a solution to this. The tradition can continue, but why unnecessarily trouble an elephant for that? A chariot, because the scriptures have not stated that we should use an elephant. So that poor elephant should be let alone, and it should live in its own natural dwelling. Because just think about it: a human being like me or you, put chained with umbrella on top and 3 or 4 people sitting and the hot sun for 10 to 12 hours just standing, and then maybe just a movement of about 5 or 10 minutes and again standing. So it is not. It's absolutely inhuman. So there is a solution for this. You replace the elephants with chariots, which are being used in many temples, especially in Tamil Nadu and Orissa. The Jagannath temple festival, they use actually chariots. So this is one reason. For the conflict. Second thing is because another thing is, I think this natural deforestation has taken place because of development of tourism. So tourism development is taking place in such a way that only the commercial part is being looked into. The maintaining of that ecosystem is not there. So what is happening is resorts are being constructed in places just near the forest. So naturally, if you have to construct the resort, you need to, destroy some trees, some natural vegetation. So the elephants and the tigers, they are using their natural vegetation. So hence they are becoming more aggressive. That is another reason which I would say is increasing the conflict between man and these animals. And then, of course, yes, forest encroachment, as I said. And the most important thing which I would like to say is, in the case of tigers, we are now seeing a lot of man-eating tigers. As you said, tigers and leopards attacking pet dogs, just taking them away. Even in places where you have these, in the place called Wayanad in Kerala, as you know, Mr. Rahul, you can see a lot of incidents where farmers are just being abducted by these tigers and then killed. So why is it happening very recently? Many years ago, such conflicts were not unheard of. But this has recently started, I think, in the last 10 years, if I'm correct, 10 or 15 years. The reason is because human dwellings have increased near the forests. And another thing is the natural, all these animals like tigers and leopards, they have herbivorous, they eat the meat of herbivorous animals. So these herbivorous animals, because that is how the nature is, that is how the balance is made. So what is happening is animals like deer and other such herbivorous animals, the meat of that is now being consumed by human beings. So they are killed. And so the tiger or leopard is losing its natural food, and hence it has no other go but to attack humans. And once it gets the scent or likes the scent of the human flesh, then that's it. It goes on a continuous spree. So three things. I think there should be some relook into the temple festival where elephants are being used. To the ecosystem or the natural ecosystem of these animals should not be disturbed. And third thing is, I would say the hunting should be stopped. I think that is the main problem. I think
I believe that the deer and all in wildlife reserves are not permitted. You're not permitted to hunt them. Am I correct? Not permitted to hunt.
You are right, Mr. Rahul. But
you have very hefty fines and hefty jail terms. I think. You have, I think, certain animals up to 20 years. Right.
Yes. Yeah. But in fact, Salman Khan, the Hindi, some charges leveled against him because he killed some Samba deer, which was actually illegal. So yes, you are right. There are a lot of.
You're talking about, I think it was the actor. What is his name?
Salman Khan.
Salman Khan. Right. He killed a what was it? The
black buck.
Samba deer, I think so. If I'm correct.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was the case. Yes.
The spirit animal of a certain tribe in Punjab turned them off, and there was a lot of problems for him actually.
Yes. But then, but the thing is, unfortunately in India the rules are there, but when the rich do something wrong, the punishment given to them is not as strict as it is stated in the rule. So that is a big problem. So there needs to be a relook into all that. So in short, what I would like to say is for human beings to exist peacefully, we should not be arrogant. We should equal respect should be given to these animals also, because that is how the ecosystem, that is how the universe has been created. I think they should also be given respect, and they should be allowed to live in their own the place where they are living. Unnecessary interference should not be there. For instance, the video which you shared by my dear friend Anupam, look at the arrogance of that person. Just taking the photo. And elephants have got very, very good memory. They will just, if they get angry, that's it. I mean, for them, a human being is nothing. As you just said, we are just an ant. just like an ant. So I don't know how he escaped. It's again a mystery because the way
Yeah, I
he was
guess it was the
trampled.
person who posted it that said he escaped. It didn't look to me like he escaped, to be quite frank with you.
Yeah.
It looked as if he was. I thought it looked as if he was spot like an
Yes.
ant. So yeah.
So these are some of my observations, Mr. Rahul, to your query.
Very interesting observations. I think recently we had two elephants in the state of Kerala where they had come into, into where human beings were living, and had come across the forest. So, do you guys think it's practical to fence the whole area? I'm saying this because you mentioned Africa. In Africa, the wildlife reserves are fenced. There is a huge reserve kept. I think it's 500 kilometers of reserve or something like that, and they fence it. So the animal is not able to come into the village areas and into the outskirts and do any kind of damage. But I think in India we don't fence it. Will maybe possibly because of the complexity, it being forest land as opposed to what was there in Africa, where it is plain lands and semi-arid desert kind of structures. Here we have forests. But do you think that we should be trying something like that in this kind of a different geographical, position that we face? Do you think we should try something that is being done in a semi-arid place where we can fence it and make sure that the elephants don't come across? Or do you think that we'll be damaging their natural habitat, their natural pattern of migration and things like that?
Yeah, Rahul. I think that's the main problem where they need to roam freely. In case we are fencing it, it can damage them also. They can hurt themselves in the process. So I
Right.
think that is one of the reasons that they do not fence it. And then in India, we have a problem of population explosion. So then we have to make some infrastructure which are going by the jungles, like we have seen in the videos. So I think that is not possible in India where we can fence everything. There will be some areas which would be needed to at least transport people from one area to the other, although not utilizing the full jungle areas. That will be curtailed. But to pass people from one place to another, these kind of road infrastructure are needed. So this is the one thing, and fencing is, I think, not possible. And wherever it is possible, it's being fenced. That is one of the reasons that we have seen that. And then fencing with animals like elephants are very difficult because they travel thousands of kilometers, so it's not possible for them to fence any region. And the thing as humans, what we can do is let them pass. Do not click pictures like we have seen in these videos because it irritates them. It kind of shining objects which are shining in their eyes, and it can damage their eyes as well. We don't know because they are not used to digital medias. So we can simply let them pass. You can watch, of course,
Okay.
because anyway, yes, you can watch them pass, but do not try to do any other fancy things that just for social
Right.
media presence and just to get viral on the amongst your group or in the social networking sites. So that is what we can do. And yeah, I think those are the reasons which I feel fencing is not
If we
possible.
get back to the urban dog,
Mhm.
how do you think the other ecosystem will be affected? Because the urban dog connects the human being to a different kind of ecosystem, where we have a lot of other kinds of animals, like I mentioned, mice, rats, rodents, different kinds of rodents that exist in our cities. Now, if the urban dog is moved, what kind of a relationship do you guys feel is going to be there between human beings and what is left? How do you think the ecosystem will be affected? What do you think is going to occur?
I think then
Yes.
Supreme Court will say we need to make shelters for rats and rodents.
There might be an explosion in eagles or something, who knows,
Yes.
right? Certain things might affect the entire. It'll be interesting to see. I hope that the urban dog is treated well, whatever it is, because dogs and human beings do have a very strong emotional connection. A lot of us in India are afraid of dogs, but I think it's been proved whenever you go abroad that they have a lot of emotion, a deep emotional connection to human beings if they're raised correctly. And human beings also adapt to the dog. They tend to have a deep and strong, long-lasting emotional connection. In fact, I recently saw a video in which, because dogs are so emotional in their nature, in which a dog which was lost, its family had lost its family, and it ended up being in the forest, began to connect with a bear. And an entire bear and its family, I think there was the father bear, the mom bear, and the kids, and the dog had connected with that, and they had adopted the dog, and the dog was walking in the jungle with them. So it's a very interesting animal, the dog, and capable of deep emotional connections, and as an emotional support animal as well. So let's see how the the High Court, and maybe later on at some stage the Supreme Court, deal with this animal. Yeah. So we'll wind it up for today. All right, and I'll suggest that our audience, if you have enjoyed this particular video, please do subscribe to our channel. And yeah, that's it. Sign out. We'll be there. We'll catch up in the next video. Take care. Bye bye. Have a good day.
Thank you, man.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.